5 weeks on Mounjaro, and I didn't think I would feel like this. Stay with me, guys, and I'll tell you all about it. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me here today on this video. My name is Angela, and thank you for coming and spending a little time out with me today. Well, I'm on a health, wellness and weight loss journey, and to date I have lost, well, over 10 stone now. I get lost with the numbers, but it's about 10 stone 2 pounds is what I've lost to date. Now, these pictures are old and I do need to update them. I will, and I'll promise I will. But I've lost 10 stone and 2 pounds, and the last 5 weeks I've been on Mounjaro. Now, I will say that up until now, I've done Weight Watchers, intermittent fasting, mindful eating, and that's how I've lost the bulk of my weight. And up until 5 weeks ago, I have just started my Mounjaro journey, and there's so much that I didn't know about Mounjaro and how it would impact me. And I did a video, which is this video here. If you've not seen it, feel free to check it out, about what I didn't know about being on the medication. But I've been on it now 5 weeks. I've had 4 weeks on 2.5 milligram, and last week was my first week on 5 milligrams. Now, I do inject on Saturday and I weigh in on Saturday. So I'm going to share with you my results in a few minutes. But first, I just want to share with you how it's going. So for the past 5 weeks, it's been a bit of a mix. In that video, again, I share with you some of the things I didn't realise about Mounjaro, didn't particularly the side effects. One of the major side effects that I was getting was the bruising, and I've now learned from that, and I'm still injecting in my tummy, but making sure it's not in the same spot. So yeah, just being a bit more careful with that now to avoid that painful bruising. The other major symptom I was getting was the burping, and I will say that for the best part, it has settled. My embarrassment has been saved, and I think for me, even though I know it was a side effect, it just really took me by surprise, and it just took my body a little bit of time just to get used to everything and the medication, etc. I realised I wasn't drinking enough water as well. So because it's the cold weather, I typically and generally don't drink as much water as I would in the summer. So once I started to increase my water intake again, that has also settled for me. Now, when I do, after I've finished eating, I still get a little bit of burping, but nowhere near as much as before. Oh my days, it was so embarrassing, always burping. And to remedy that, I drink peppermint tea or ginger tea or ginger cordial, which I still do, and have increased my water intake. I do have lots of hot drinks, which I class as water. So if I have my ginger cordial, that'll be in hot water. So it doesn't have to be cold water. So yeah, so making sure I increase that. So the burping has really settled. Yeah, so it's been a really interesting week on week 5. So previously on 2.5 milligram, and I'm just sharing my experience because it will be completely different for everybody. On 2.5 milligrams, what I was finding was that on the day that I injected, the suppression was really quite strong, but then come Thursday or Friday, a couple of days before my next injection, the suppression would still be there, but not as strong, and I would start to be like feeling the hunger a little bit more. So that was for 4 weeks on the 2.5 milligram, but I was still getting weight loss, still getting really good losses, and I'd lost just over 10 pounds in my first month. My first week on the 5 milligram, which was last week, on the Saturday I injected that my first dose of 5 milligrams, and all my days the suppression went to another level. Seriously, went to another level, and I literally had to force myself to eat. I just wasn't hungry at all. And I think I shared in this video here that I'd had injected in the morning, and then it was way in the afternoon before I could eat, and even then I just had a few little nibbles and literally a quarter of a hamburger, and that was it. I was done. The suppression was really, really strong. And you know, some people, you know, comment and say you need to eat, you need to fuel your body. And for me, as a weight loss coach, it's not so much about eating, it's about fueling the body with the right type of food. Because you can eat food which is not going to nourish your body. Yeah, you can eat copious amounts, or you can eat a small amount that is protein and fibre and nutrient dense, that is going to give your body what you need. So that's what I'm focusing on when I'm eating, making sure that I'm eating foods that is going to be nutrient dense. So lots of protein, fruits and veggies, and I have my veggies as soups, so that way I'm getting my nutrition in. So yeah, it's yeah, not eating a great amount of food, but that's when my body is turning to the fat stores. Because even though I've lost 10 stone, I still have fat on my body and I still have weight to lose. My body is turning to the fat stores and using those for energy and burning that up. And that's why, you know, I'm still losing weight, even though I'm not eating a huge amount. So because that process is happening in my body, my energy levels have gone through the roof. I feel so full of energy all the time. Now I'm like those dips in the afternoon where I was like needing a nap, or where I needed to get to bed early, gone, because that tells me, and I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm not a scientist, I'm not giving any medical advice, but what it's telling me and my body is that my body is now working more efficiently and using the fat that is already stored. And I've got a lot of fat. If you've ever seen any of my videos, I talk about the fat on my tummy, which is partly genetic and also because I'm diabetic. It's turning to that fat and breaking that down and using that for energy, which is getting me through the day. And now, because I'm consuming less, my digestive system is not working as hard, and that's why I feel like I've got so much more energy. So that's definitely a positive of using the medication. So increased suppression on 5 milligram all week. And the other interesting thing is, when I was on the 2.5 milligram, as I said, the last 2 days before I was due my next injection, I was feeling that little bit of hunger. I was still suppressed, but not as much, and I was still feeling that little bit of hunger. Not on 5 milligram. It's come around, Saturday's come around today, and I was like, oh my days, I need to inject today. No lifting of that suppression. Now it could be just because I'm more conscious and eating lots of protein. So when I do eat throughout the day, it is very, very protein dense. It could be that. yeah, rather than having the vegetables and veg soup, it could well be that. But either case, the suppression has been increased. Yeah, so very interesting. But I feel really good. As I mentioned, my energy levels have gone through the roof. I feel really energized. You know, now I do have a number of health conditions, and one of them, particularly my arthritis, is really, because the change of the weather here in the UK, it's really been damp, and it's my arthritis on my days. My arthritis is really knocking me off my feet. So for me, it's really important to recognize that whilst I feel good in my energy levels and a few of the things I'm going to come on to talk about, it doesn't negate the fact that I have existing health conditions and will suffer with those regardless. So yeah, so I've just been suffering with my hands and my feet and my hips because of the arthritis. So yeah, been feeling really good. The bloating that sometimes I would get, gone again, because I'm not eating as much. My body isn't have to work hard to digest all of that food. That is gone. That is completely lifted. My belly, oh my goodness, I've got a belly, and her name's Annie, and I've been trying to evict her for the longest time, but my belly, it's almost like the fat on my belly is melting, because my belly just, at one point my belly used to feel really firm and really hard. Now it's just feeling squidgy. It feels really squidgy. It doesn't feel as tough. It just feels really squidgy. And I when I'm lying in bed at night or early in the morning, and I can feel my ribs, and I can feel like the cavity, like just here, just underneath my breastbone. Let me see if I can, yeah, back here, this whole area underneath my breastbone, and you know, and like the lower part of my stomach it just feels lighter and it feels softer, and anything that can make me that feel so much better is definitely a good thing, because I mentioned in previous videos that we have fat that lie underneath the skin all over our body, yeah, on our legs, on our arms, but it's the fat that is in our stomach cavity. So the belly fat, that's the most dangerous fat, because it can sit around your internal organs. So that is the fat that I'm really keen to get broken down and to get rid of. Now, I have to accept I'm never going to have a washboard belly. That's just how it is. That is our genetics in our family. But I just want to reduce the amount of fat in that tummy cavity, that visceral fat. And as that's changing my shape, oh my days, you know, when I lost the bulk of my weight, my waist came back, and I could actually see my waist, and it felt really good to see my waist. But oh my days, even more so now, I could really see when I put my clothes on, and you know, or even as when I put my hands on my hips, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I've got a waist, and it's really there, and each week it just seems to be getting smaller. And when I did my try on hauls, if you're following me, I've got some videos where I've been trying on my clothes and my belts, and I've ditched the belts because the belts now fit me. No point in, you know, doing a progress video with the belts because they fit, but when I bought them, it didn't fit. So, you know, seeing my progress that way has been absolutely fantastic. So overall, I feel really good. And I actually, when I look in the mirror, I really like what I see. I really like that. And I remember there was a point on my journey, I hated looking in the mirror. I hated looking at myself, at what I'd done to myself. I hated that. But now I love looking in the mirror. I've got a mirror right here. I love looking in the mirror. I like looking at myself, and you know, there's still work to be done. Yeah, I still got a good 2 stone that I'd like to lose, 2 maybe 3. Still work to be done, but I like what I see. I really like what I see. And for me, that is a massive shift with my mindset. Massive shift. Because I feel confident. I feel confident in who I am and what I am, and you know, I can strut anywhere now, and feel good about myself. And when I walk past a mirror in a shop, you know, or I see the reflection of myself, you know, I actually sometimes just stop and have a look, or even go back and have a look, and I'm like, God, is that me? You know, because at one point I wouldn't even look, you know. So again, non-scale, you know, victories. Again, these are victories that I love to celebrate. And Mounjaro is really helping me get past that last little bit of a hurdle. So I spoke to my my medical practitioner, because Mounjaro is being prescribed by my consultant and my nurse, because I am type 2 diabetic. And I've got to have a blood test. My next blood test is going to be in end of next month, so it's booked for January. So in 3 months, it'll be 3 months from when I started the Mounjaro that they are going to do my HbA1c, and that'll be ongoing, because I'm on it to see what's happening with my diabetes and to get my blood glucose levels down. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. Okay, so I went on the scales this morning, and I will share with you my results, and I will pop them just here for you. So I'm going to come back to my weight in a moment. I will tell you, I am using the Renpo scales. Now, a few people have asked me, how do I get the data on the scales? So when you buy the scales, and there is a link in the description box below if you want to check out the actual scales that I've got. They're really affordable and they're brilliant. What I will say about them is that the foot plate is small. So if you've got, and I'm a size 6 and my feet just fit on them. So if you're like a size 10 or 12, like, you know, if you've got large feet, your feet are going to hang off them. But I think the point is they've got the sensors, 4 sensors, and the key is, as long as your feet are on the sensors, that's when it's going to pick up all of that data. So don't be put off by the size of the scales if your feet don't fit. It's about them your feet being on the sensors. So I've been asked the question, how do you get all of that data? So when you get your scales, go to the Google store, the Google store, your app store, either on Apple or Android, and download the Renpo app. And when you download it and you sign in and you log in, what you can then do is you can enter in your start details if you want, or you can get on the scales. You do have to make sure that the Bluetooth is on, okay? And here's a little tip. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but there is a point to this. I used to weigh people for a living for years, okay? I'm going to give you a tip. And what people used to do, they used to stand on the scale and they used to look down, okay? And I'd say to them, no. When you do that, you are shifting the balance of your weight. And that's why sometimes, you know, you can get on 1 week and get on another, like a couple of days later, and you see a massive fluctuation. It could be not necessarily what your body's doing, but how you're standing on the scales. So when you stand on the scales, don't be tempted to bend out, to look down, because then you're shifting the balance of your weight. And when I used to tell people this, they didn't believe me. So I used to say, let's take this reading, now get off the scales and get back on again, but look, stand up tall, stand up straight. And sometimes there'd be as much as £1 pound difference. Yeah. So key to weighing yourself, especially with the Renpo scales, is put your Bluetooth on, open your app, get on the scale, and then stand up tall, okay? don't be tempted to look down. Just stand up tall, head up, shoulders back, tummy held in, and stand up really tall. And then what you will hear is this, your app will take the reading and you'll hear a little bell. Okay, and at that point you know that your weight is registered, and then you can look down if you want to, and it'll show you your reading. So on any scale, so that works on the Rempo app, you get that little bell, but on any set of scales, most people, and I'm sure you probably do this yourself, if you do, give this video a like, but most people stand on the scale and then they look down. Yeah, they look, and if you were like me and had a tummy, I'm kind of leaning over as far as I could so I can see the reading. Yeah, you're going to get a different reading every time. Yeah, it's not going to be accurate. You need to stand up tall. Yeah, stand up nice and straight. That's going to give you the best reading. Okay, so that being said, so when you open your app and you stand on the scale, stand up nice and tall, you'll hear a little bell. That's when your reading has been registered. Okay, and then what you can do, because people have said, how do I get all of this data? At the top, and I'll take a photo and I'll show you, you just click on the picture of the scale there, and then you scroll down and all the data will be there. All of this data will be there. So that is on the Rempo app that I've got, the version that I've got. I don't know about other body composition scales or other versions of the Rempo app, but that is what I've got on mine. And to say, I put the description below in the description box of the one that I've got. I think it was about less than 20 quid. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So over to my my metrics this week. So I'll tell you how much weight I may have lost or may have gained. I'll tell you what the result is in a moment. So my BMI, ka-ching, down again this week. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You see, with the scales, it's only ever going to give you one set of reading, but with the Rempo, you're going to get all of these metrics, which is brilliant. I love it. So my BMI down a smidge, absolute smidge, and I'm loving that. And it was the same last week again. So yeah, ever since I've been doing it, each week my BMI is just going down. It's not by a huge amount, just a tiny little bit, but it's going in the right direction. And my body fat, again, down again. And what I love about these scales is not only does it give you the reading, the number, it gives you the arrow down. So you know you're making downward, you know you're making progress. It'll give you an arrow up to say that you're not doing so good or stay the same. It also gives you a colour code as well. So if it's something's in the red, you know that's your danger zone. You need to work on that. It'll give you the amber, which is you're not in the danger zone, but there's still work to do. Green is where you want to be. Or the blue, which you're on the low side and you need to improve that. So I love all of those different metrics. So my body fat went down again by 0.2, which was the same as last week. So I'm really happy about that. So each week chipping away at the fat on my body. As I said, I've still got fat on my body, even though I've lost 10 stone. So the fact that I'm not just guided by the weight, I can see each week tiny little progress around my body fat going down too. My skeletal muscle increased, so I'm putting on a bit of muscle. Ka-ching! I'm putting that muscle on, yeah. So I'm really pleased about that. And I know that there is a lot of work to do because I'm in the blue zone for that. So yeah, work to be done. My fat-free mass is down by 0.8, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what that means. I do need to read up on that. Now my subcutaneous fat is still in the amber, which is good, but I'm stayed the same on that, so no change. But again, area that I need to work on. It's not in the danger zone, but there's work to be done there. But my visceral fat, which is this fat in my tummy cavity, no change there. No change there, which is surprising because, as I mentioned before, my belly feels really squidgy. It feels looser. It feels like I am, you know, my fat is being burned. Not as much, but maybe not enough to register. That's probably what it is. And my body water, again, increased just a smidge, which is good. A lot of work for me to do there because it's in the blue. I'm sure in the summer that'll be green because I'll just drink loads of water in the summer. But if the weather's cold, it's cold. So I am drinking lots of hot water with cordial in just to increase that. Oh, and the other thing I will say is that I do find that when I drink cold water, I get lots of burping as well. So when I'm drinking warm water or hot water, the burping really settles. Yeah. So my muscle mass dipped a little bit. Yeah, it's in the green, which is good, but it dipped a little bit. It also dipped last week as well. So last week it dipped by 0.8 and this week it dipped by 0.6. So I need to do something about that. My bone mass dipped by 0.02. It dipped. Last week there was no change, so it's dipped a little bit. And again, I'll need to figure out why that is. My protein, last week it was still in the blue, but it increased. But this week it stayed the same, no change. Not sure why. Need to investigate that. And my BMR is basal metabolic rate, and that's the rate at which I burn calories. Last week it was in the amber, so again not in the red zone, so it's good. It was down by 11. This week it's down by 10. And my metabolic age, no change. But one day it will change. One day it's going to go to 63, and it's going to be, I'm going to predict by Easter, I'm putting it out there, I'm calling it, putting it out to the universe. By Easter 2025, my metabolic age will go to 63. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. So in 5 weeks, I have made 9% progress. Get in there. I'm really pleased. 9% progress I've made. I'm so happy with that. Really pleased with that. So progress all around. Even if it's just a tiny, teeny, weeny smidge, it's still progress. And you know what? I wish I had got these scales right at the start of my journey, nearly 6 years ago, because there were so many times that I was watching my weight. I was part of Weight Watchers, and I was watching my weight, and the scale, the number on the scale was my only guide, and my average was less than £0.5 pound a week, which was good, nothing to be sniffed at, because it's built up to over 10 stone now. But there were so many times I was so disheartened and so discouraged because the scales just wasn't moving. But if I had had these scales, I could see progress in so many different areas. So guys, treat yourself to Christmas, treat yourself to a set of these or other body composition scales if you're on a weight and health journey, so that we don't become fixated by that one number on the scale. Saying that, the scales shifted £2 down this week. £2. So I'm really pleased with that, because if you've seen any of my journey for the past, I've been documenting it really well for about 18 months now here on the channel. You'll know that there were some months that I was happy with £1 loss, £1 a month, sometimes £0.5 pound a month, sometimes £2 a month. Very happy with that. I've never ever had a time in, well, the most I've ever lost in my entire journey has been £4 maybe, once right at the start, but my average, as I said, has been about £0.5 pound a week is, or less than £half a week is my average. I've never known in my entire weight loss journey to be consistently losing more than £half a week. Yeah, never. So for me to be losing £2 a week, which is what I've done, is fantastic. It's fantastic. So yeah, it's coming off. It's coming off. But I am using this time whilst on Mounjaro, because I don't know how long my medical team's going to keep me on it. I'm using this time not just to lose the weight, but to make sure that I follow my medical guidance. I'm still taking metformin and dapagliflozin. So still, you know, using my medication, but I'm also using this time to make sure that I build on the healthy habits that I already have, and keep them going for life. Yeah. So for me, this is a life change. You know, people ask the question, well, what happens when you come off it? Will the weight not go back on? Like with anything, the weight will go back on if I haven't got healthy habits in place. But yeah, after 6 years, I've learned so much about me and my body. I've learned how to lose weight as well. Yeah, I've learned how to lose weight and what things help me to lose weight. And I've worked on my mindset. So yeah, you know, you can never say never, but because I've got healthy habits in place, I still eat mindfully. I still eat really slowly. I make sure I get my nutrition in. You know, I walk, I sleep, you know, or drink my water, even if it is hot water. I've got all these healthy habits in place that is going to help me to keep the weight off as and when I come off the medication, which I'm sure I will at some point. But what I'd love to know is, what healthy habits have you got, guys? What healthy habits are you putting in place that's going to help you both now and in the future if ever you have to come off the medication? And I imagine for some people who are paying for the medication, who's not getting it on the NHS, it can be quite a financial commitment. So if there comes a time where you can't continue to pay for it, then now's the time to be putting in place healthy habits that you can sustain and keep going once you come off the medication. So guys, there you go. Week 5 on Mounjaro. That's how it's gone for me. I'm really pleased with how it's going. I don't miss food. I don't miss it. It's Christmas is coming up. I'm out tonight. And we're going for a meal, so it's going to be interesting to see how I deal with that or how I cope with that. But first and foremost, it's up here, not what's on the plate. So yeah, you know, I'll let you know how I get on with that. And then next weekend, you know, I've got a weekend away. It's going to be food again. Then we've got Christmas meals and with work and out with friends. This is the season now, so it's going to be interesting to see how first and foremost I deal with that, and how I deal with the suppression around food as well. And the other thing I will say is, I've not even had a drink. You know, like on the weekends, I'll, you know, want a drink. Now, I will say, I don't drink regularly on my own. I will say that. But sometimes, like on a Friday or a Saturday night, you know, the room's nice and cosy, the candles on them, you know, listening to some music or, you know, doing whatever. And sometimes I just like a drink. Not even had that for 5 weeks. Not had a drink. Not even been tempted to have a drink. Not even thought about having a drink. So yeah, things are really changing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being with me. If you're still here at this point of the video, then thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you to everybody who's recently joined my channel and subscribed. I really appreciate your support. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and I would love to get there by Easter. It's all happening in Easter. It's all happening in Easter. So I'd love to get there by Easter. So if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. But equally as important, click the notification bell, because as and when I upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. Feel free also, guys, in your communities, in your groups, to share this video or any of my Mounjaro video that you think may help anybody or others. But also, I love to shop. I love Christmas, and I've got lots of videos as well with shopping hauls. Feel free to check those out. So, guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you very soon. Take care, guys. Bye.